Have you ever wondered about the man who led Ghana to independence and championed the dream of a united Africa? Let's journey back in time and explore the incredible life of Kwame. Born in 1909 in Nkrumah, a small village in what was then the British Gold Coast, Francis Nia Kofi Nkrumah, who would later become Kwame Nkrumah, showed early signs of a brilliant mind. He was a gifted student and a passionate teacher, but his ambitions stretched far beyond the classroom. He yearned for knowledge and a way to free his people. In 1935, Nkrumah embarked on a transformative journey to the United States. He spent a decade there, earning multiple degrees from Lincoln University and the University of Pennsylvania. These weren't easy years. He worked odd jobs, from fishmonger to shipyard laborer, just to fund his education. But it was in America where he was exposed to the ideas of black intellectuals like Marcus Garvey and W.E.B. Du Bois. He saw the struggles of African Americans, and it ignited a fire in him. And the fire for Pan-Africanism, the belief that all people of African descent should be united. After the U.S., he moved to London in 1945. There, he became a key organizer of the 5th Pan-African Congress in Manchester. This was a pivotal moment. He met other future African leaders, and together, they stood not just for independence for their individual countries, but for the liberation of the entire African continent. His political philosophy was taking shape. Self-governance was not a gift to be given, but a right to be taken. In 1947, he was invited back home to the Gold Coast to become the General Secretary of the United Gold Coast Convention, or UGCC. This was a party of educated elites who wanted gradual independence. But Nkrumah's vision was different. He wanted self-government. His radical approach and his incredible ability to connect with the common people, the farmers, the market women, the workers, quickly made him more popular than the party's founders. Tensions grew. Nkrumah felt the UGCC was too slow, too cautious. So, in 1949, he did something bold. He broke away and formed his own party. The Convention People's Party, the CPP. Its motto was simple and powerful: self-government now. The CPP was a mass movement, a party for everyone. Nkrumah then launched a campaign of positive action, a series of nonviolent protests, strikes, and boycotts inspired by Mahatma Gandhi. The British colonial authorities responded by arresting him and other CPP leaders, but jailing Nkrumah only made him a martyr and a hero. While he was in prison, the CPP, organized brilliantly by his colleagues, contested the first general election in 1951, and the result was astonishing. The CPP won a landslide victory. Nkrumah himself won his seat in Accra Central with an overwhelming majority, all while sitting in a prison cell. The British government had no choice. They released him from prison. Imagine the scene. Nkrumah walking out of James Fort Prison, straight to the governor's office, not as a prisoner, but as the leader of government business, and later, the first Prime Minister of the Gold Coast. It was a victory for the people. Over the next 6 years, Nkrumah worked tirelessly with the British to transition the country towards full independence. He built roads, schools, and hospitals. He was preparing his nation for a new dawn. And then, the moment the world was watching, on March 6, 1957, the Gold Coast became the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence. Nkrumah stood before a massive, jubilant crowd and declared, "At long last, the battle is ended, and thus, Ghana, our beloved country, is free forever." He renamed the country Ghana after the ancient West African Empire, a powerful symbol of its proud African heritage. But for Nkrumah, Ghana's independence was just the beginning. At that very independence speech, he made his famous declaration: "Our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent." This became his life's mission. As Prime Minister and later as President of Ghana, he became a leading voice for Pan-Africanism on the world stage. He championed the formation of the Organization of African Unity, the OAU, in 1963, a precursor to today's African Union. He envisioned a United States of Africa with a common market, a shared military, and a unified foreign policy. He believed that only through unity could Africa resist the influences of its former colonial masters and take its rightful place in the world. Back home, he embarked on ambitious industrialization projects. He built the Akasembo Dam to provide hydroelectric power, the new port city of Tema, and established factories to make the country self. His focus on education continued, making it accessible and free, leading to a surge in literacy rates. Ghana became a beacon of hope, a symbol of what a free African nation could achieve. However, his leadership style also faced criticism. To protect the nation from what he saw as internal and external threats, his government passed the Preventive Dissension Act, which allowed for imprisonment without trial. In 1964, he declared Ghana a one-party state, with himself as president for life. While his supporters saw these moves as necessary to consolidate power and push forward his radical development agenda, his opponents viewed them as a slide towards authoritarianism. The economy also began to face challenges. Falling prices for cocoa, Ghana's main export, and the high cost of his large-scale development projects put a strain on the nation's finances. Discontent was growing among some sections of the population and the military. In February 1966, while Nkrumah was on a state visit to Vietnam and China on a peace mission, his government was overthrown in a military coup. He was forced into exile in Guinea, where he was welcomed by President Ahmed Sékou Touré and given the title of co-president. In exile, Nkrumah never gave up his dream. He continued to write, to speak, and to advocate for African unity and a socialist revolution. He wrote some of his most influential books during this period, continuing to shape political thought across the continent and the world. Sadly, Kwame Nkrumah never set foot in Ghana again. He passed away in Bucharest, Romania, in 1972, where he had gone for medical treatment. His legacy is complex and debated, but his impact is undeniable. He was a visionary, a liberator, and the architect of modern Ghana. He lit the flame of independence that swept across the continent, and his dream of a united, prosperous Africa continues to inspire new generations. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the life of one of Africa's greatest sons. If you found this story inspiring, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into history. See you in the next video.